ina horakpa ai question nei hangi noi ma'am thengna su toina ai kaido bogi khoi na ngamoid matamam de ngu sungam ngam de han ba khoi Manipur gi culture ne khoi han da gi politicians sing changan da badu to bogi khoi attitude am le khoi da so han da yaw rai khoi na ma pan tam nge da su rajniti wala da paisa ni roi na khana ba ngam ni student union gi function to da Delhi da Pune da tam nge anti politician gi attitude am le khoi aduna swai da ngam da basa karamain tau da na ABB fene MU da changa ga bole panga mai no mo gi mine na form na sapanga mai no kari no ba congress ngam dis sini ai koi na ngasi khanna dori ba na ha the emphasis pire ni koi ge Rahul Gandhi oin tawres leader of the opposition taw ado akoi phibam je kari le ri ge boji vote su naksal la. So what is the condition of NSY Manipur branch? What is the condition of Youth Congress? No kamai le ni ye mo. Akoi gi amna dynamic oiba leader ne na lai ba youthful oi na lai ba LOPC gi magi energy do ye mo. Just look at his energy. Do we have it here? Magi birthday na nakoina submit tawre ngasi celebrate tawre ga. You ask yourself, do you have the same energy as your leader Rahul Gandhi? Do you have it? What is the strength of your organization? How you are functioning here? Sitil basi masing jung yengo. Sini thabak taw boda sincerity oi ba thamoi seng pangthok ke hai tar ga di aina ha ma thabning is sin ani subada aina so hek toina hai boda kari gumba ahong ma purak boda kal figure na yaroi Oja Bimol na yaroi aina hai din ai hero nate irabot ke sai on ju nate lai su nate Oja ma samani. I am very passionate about my land, my state, and I don't need to prove it to anybody. Imalai Park, Khalle Sia, Soto, whatever certificate Piga the one, meaning on the Pangang. It's the way I am, this is the way I do. Sigi, Poche, Echo the Suloy Yahom Toy, Miam, Ato, the Dominance. Miam Yaudana Kashiaro. Mamang the vote carries su Aishu high, according to Pina so high later Mikona. Luzan Carbonate. I should heck when press conference. I had DC office, I told about the press briefing Tawada. I in a carbonate city, Miam na carboni, I believe. Vote come matam swimming some in a carry high. Nasi Tonado is a Manipur to guy again and Kanmakambu, Maga, Manipur Kai, but Sungaya have a Kambu, and Nigi Lan and the kid votes. Kanangi and Guinian. Oja Bimol Akoijam vote. I inside Miam, I didn't make up to Latana. Oja da Iga Sukang relax lady, but Mians can I know Canada. Mamma, not I chalu Kariawik on Facebook, the Kaida Uratana. Tankul village, Amasunong, a video, Mating never. Board Carbonumita, Oak Chai and Moy Party, Tauleva, gave a video, Tagalebo. Yam no Sibam tired, the Moina. Paisa Ozana Pirak Pra, and I said, Kari Saksan and Ozana Bot Kavai. I was Adi, Mana Pisapira, but not a home kind of name, Kumebo. And I also the Moina hanging. I was Adi Unaru Brandness, home look celebrate Unarte Ma, Pangate May was Salumi. I Zuna was Supang the bar, I in a Supasapi, was not a bar, I vodka and a tax and a Zarine. That's the celebration. I know win Taurine. I adi Masama. And as the party walker is number one say, I have a party no win the Wodavani. Manung Karigino guys a clarity Yawadavani, but politics out again. Isangi Ojo Takatami in a Sanadiaro. Walk alone home, Wodavani. I think high command of the Manipur and the say. Rahul ji hai. This is Migi Chanabini, Europe, Northern India again. Ako just Ahalaman Gimami, and one Angam, the Bimol had them with a Tinglong Pan in another. Kay no to race boy. No, we saw the Numairo, but my Totana. Northern UP, if you don't put the word G, it gets offended because that is the way you refer to respected people. But in South India, they don't use it. In Manipur, we don't use it. So there's a, I think I say I do. G, there are two different kinds of G. One G is a cultural thing that you normally Hapsel is suffix when hapsel laga. Especially in North India. But there is another kind of G. G huzur raina. Whatever whatever the other says, you say Hanji, G, slavish mentality. There's two kind of G. I know I am to in a permanence. Migi UP gi North India gi G hapu. It is perfectly alright. This is trying to address their cultural sensibility. But if a Manipuri, if somebody started referring to me here as Bimol Ji by another Manipuri, I said, what's going on with this guy? Why is he imitating? Because we don't have that culture here. You can call me high Nidena, Minguina Panjarabada, Natragata, Kaka, Tamo Bimol. We have a different kind of a cultural sensibility. But if you imitate everybody and say here, I know the Tamo Ranjit Haibagim Hota in Ranjit Ji, Ibo Biji Hairagadi, there is something wrong with me. Because I am abandoning my cultural mooring. Natro. Adu migi cultural mooring Ji Haibam Laini Adu is perfectly alright. Especially when you are referring to someone from North India to put the word Ji. But there is a different kind of a G, which is that whatever the leaders say, Moin Hai Nako. Aduna is a high command culture. This is what people are trying to take advantage by so-called regional parties and so on. Ako sige clarity chang. Sige clarity chang basa. Ngasi ay na share to uning basa pot ani hum kaglay ko. Since today is our LOP's birthday, what is there about him I wanted to share with you, what I feel about what he said and what he does. Something that makes me feel good as a party member. Aigi leader mana hairak pani aigi leader ki quality ne na haibada aingonda nuai saba. And there are 5 things which I'll share with you, including the last thing that he said 6-7 days mamang the man resistance ke maramda. He said something about resistance. Adugi mamang that there are 4 more things which inspired me from what he said. First, it was around 2019. Aina kanna PCRA menam tauramevako, People's Campaign for Resurgent Manipur. And in 2019 ki Lok Sabha election da, I want that deeply something that appeals to me, something that vibes with what I felt. Akoy elopi na kay hai. Is a battle of 2 ideas of India. There are 2 ideas of India. One represented by Indian National Congress, one represented by BJP/RSS. Congress na khanba idea of India haiba malai, BJP na khanba idea of India. These 2 ideas of India are not one and the same. So manahayab. It's a fight between 2 sets of ideas of India. One idea belief in diversity, one belief in equality, one belief in secular politics. Another belief in hegemonic communal religious politics. Simple thing. But I know we are I address a Congress session in Ahmedabad. Others say Haramani. Mana 2019 da koi ki LOP na Raul na hai ki bahujiki 2 is a battle of 2 ideas of India hai to. And I explain a little bit since I am a student of social science. This is almost 100 years old struggle. 1920s again in India, the communal politics ki mami chao na taratana. The largest communal violence in history occurred around later part of 1920s. 25 and 26 is the communal riot. Jam to India, the maximum number. And that is the time noina uhogadavasa. Muslim League, Hindu Mahasabha, RSS, all were born during that period. Anni mukhoy ani dudagi khenaba, different from these two forces. You can today call it Muslim fundamentalism, Muslim right-wing groups, or Hindu right-wing groups or Hindu fundamentalist groups. Different from that, there's a movement led by Indian National Congress. Aduni noina sida mangasi remind tawbase legacy of resistance. My speech tara mani noiko. He said since Gandhiji came, before that Congress was a political party, but 1927 onwards, Gandhi lakudai dia koi political party na te koi. We were a movement. We were a resistance movement. British ki miot minai colonial rule loi lamge laingak len dugi mayok ta leiba movement amani resistance amani aina mana hoje ki speech da panman. We are not political party after 1927. That's what he said. That's the history. Nasai 1920s ge RSS form torakpa Muslim League torakdugi segai na rakpi marak the chance of laga British na divide and rule horakpa. Madai the International Congress na khomjal laga to bring everybody along, irrespective of your caste, creed, religion. That movement to fight against the colonial oppression nangi purna swaraj kai na tau na horakpado. That is what he was reminding you. Aina. So the first thing, anisi last and first, mana resistant haiduga aham bahai. That is something that I realize that this is what, if I have to ever join a political party and fight it out, then this is the platform. Because I belong and I believe in one of those ideas of India, which is what the Congress party believes in. 2. Second time, man amasuhai. No isumiyangomagi video, check his videos and others. Second thing he said, which appealed to me, is, and similarly said, is an ideological war. Ideological war ne hai koi battles. The fight is between two ideologies. Masai two sets of idea of India do chaman. Secularism, nationalism of a different kind. Makoi na masida cultural nationalism, religion based orga toropage nationalist project. So there are two different kind of ideologies. Adusu akoi gi elopina remind tawne. Check it, Google tawrayeng over. He said it's a battle of two ideologies. He said it. Akoi the clarity why we become part of mainstream politics, why do we become part of a political party's member, why we are here in Congress. You have to be very clear about this. So if we are celebrating his birthday, remember this two things I said. I'm going to say 5 things, all what he said. First thing he said, this is a battle of two ideas of India. 2, it is a battle of ideologies. 3rd, what he said, that is on the floor of the house, something that had strengthened me to choose Congress to fight against the injustice done to Manipur. Manakari Haigeda. India is a union of states. This is the 3rd idea, or Rahul ji said. What he said? He said, India is a union of states. Why did he say that? Because Nasaigi idea of India ki BJP ki moi ki ideology adudagi cheitharakpada moina state si disrespect away. India ki basic union of India, the yauriba federal character, something Supreme Court ki afauba judgment nasu basic structure of Indian constitutions, the federal polity is one of the minor. Mandu moino zik BJP na loi thugare se Hindi, Hindu, Hindustan. Homogenizing tendency ka way English ta. Hegemonic and homogenizing tendency. Hindi is everywhere. Koi khangi khangu to. South India is resisting to that. So mo ina pamba idea ma impose oksala ine bes. That idea mo ngasai ki diversity to the belief torakta since they don't believe in diversity. Kay daw ra. One India, one nation, one election, one India, one law, one language. Sun torakta do ine say. Akoi ki maitai ki the saying am like that. Lepa chalade, phamba changani, phamba chalade, tumba changani. Once you get a place to stand, you give him to stand, then he will ask for a place to sit. The moment you allow that, it becomes they will ask for a place to sleep. English ki phrase na do foot at the door hai technique ko. That's what BJP is going to do. First they said, "Ye hum log ye kuch nahi karega, ye kuch nahi karega. We are simply doing this." Then dhire they impose. One election, kariba, one nation, one election. How does it destroy diversity? Because the Akoi assembly, the Miyam na Khanjari ni Manipur ki Miyam na Khanjaba Sarkar amle ren khaloba ko. Moin huji one nation, one election torko do ise. Mamangi thahum da khan ga da ngai ri ba koi ki assembly se kari gumba sona kanda parliament se na kaira aba. Fresh election to matamda aikoi ki assembly su mutalaga muk tawreba. Aikoi ki free will ne state ki leijari mi ba Miyam ki free will che leira ro. And there is a one language, one nation ki idea ni yuk long na thaza ni one religion na dominant auraga sige je moina haizen na ba you ani deep down inside alugi project to neba cultural nationalist project I and a hegemonic and homogenizing tendency laiba BJP is doing that much in the corporate federalism haizabani kehne wali baat hai but hakikat mein wo log kya karte what do they do Namjal laine moina haibaje tau taine insalam they will destroy that one. So Rahul Gandhi ji said, reminding them, no, India is not going to be like one entity like that. We are unity in diversity. We are a union of states. That's the third idea which I like when Rahul ji said. He said this on the floor. All these three ideas are interrelated. Mana remind to do kai state interest ngak na nang kadai dagi nation lai do no if there were no states India lai gadraba lai gadro that is what our LOP was reminding. India is a union of states no gi hegemonic homogenizing torga federal correct thugai bagi pot tawrei se tawrakanu haina mana remind tawre. That is something that I like. So, koi na si regional interest, regionalism, Manipur ki interest hai se. Ada yauro bana trada. State ki interest ngak pai sineba. Ermayam na high command. Ye Congress, BJP high command culture. I'm saying that how is that an Orissa person or a Kerala person or a Goan person or a Haryana guy can become national leader? And a Naga from Nagaland or a Manipuri from Manipur can never be considered as a national leader. Who is a national high command? It is consisting of us only. Not true. Central leader has they belong to some states. National level the work to one ever. Since this is a country, it's a big country, so you have an organization which represent all these states. So you have a concern for that. But the members who are running that all belong to some states. So what is the idea? High command, you can fight it out within the party also. There is a MPCC to represent Manipur's interests. Natro. aduna false idea that they are just trying to distract nangi Manipur gi interest to ngak ko ngamaloi sarkar su government of India leminaries that you have to influence the government of India influence of mathau tadra na nang regional party or su government of India nang influence of ngamakta di kai kanani adugi negotiation that you can do it whichever party you belong. And they're just campaigning against national party Haiza by one reason aduna I think aside India is a union of states in Haiza is a kind of the state ki interest negotiate our LOP has already acknowledged that when he says India is a union of state, he is making this statement against the hegemonic and homogenizing tendency followed by BJP, which destroys the basic structure of constitution called federal polity. Yamna maru ay bapot ni masigi pots. Federal polity kaib se Manipur de ngasi ngangnadri. I'll give you some example. Kana ngangna ki ge yengo. Ay na sweng meeting do wangang de khabar da ina ki ba yaubra television da discuss tau gi bra. Khoi haine Delhi na hairaga da taulai de Delhi na hairaga da taulai de hairi ba gi mikup sida nang chahi ahum sida handak thengna rei se kai thengna gi ge yengo. India ki constitution ki mayok ta ngak ta ne ba taulai se. Law and order is a coin of federal polity, the Indian constitution, the federal union list Malay, concurrent list Malay, state list Malay, later state number hiram, agriculture, Sumaina Leni, foreign affairs, defense, union list Yarini, state nasu law Sembayaba, central nasu Sembayaba, Karam hiram no in Adu the Yauri, concurrent list Yabo, hiram sin. High the central hiram citizenship, foreign relations, defense, state government na tauya de do. Union government taudam adugi hiram singna koina union list hape. State list na state katana tauda bathaba masu lai. Mana lo sembayaba agriculture for example same in it. Usi moina thandok thangjin taubusiyo matam matu in haurak pada ler maga di usi kenare. Concurrent list size is the state nasu sembayaba union government nasu sembayaba hiram. Education is in that. Haurak pada di education je state to weramani. Asu thangje lagtan usi moina national curriculum ina agi dasum chum namje lagtan na usi khanaris. Ai koi ki state ki wari chi doga ina kai do wage Maharashtra thok se tamdo. National and sum tawra what constitute national? How will we find ourselves in our school textbook? Sigi potla is the education je concurrent list yaw is so mine yen thokna risine ba koina federal structure has ada koina amna chawna chahi hum je urakpada what the BJP government did or has done so far and is still doing khoidagi chaw se law and order have a post in it. Law and order have se karamba hiram de yauge the union list the yauge concurrent list the yauge se kadai de yauge the state list the yauge aduna ne banang mapam mudin chakane even uniform manadri se police ta my state to ma decision lo ja uniform ho ma India ki army ki chief haibam lai kai defense I say all India ni union na pai bani all India ki police chief haibam thengna ra bro nyam thengna ra bro ne India ki police ki khoi makok ai nam leibra ba India da army ki makok general lei du maina lei tribe maram kari kai the law and order se state ki subject ne state ki ne ba India ki makok lei ya roi state ki police ki makok ti lei ne aduna bho rain thelak pa matam da khoina ubne sida moi bilai hai na khoi theli sa sida khoi de ki chawbo police state ki head se kamai thele me ubira ba Sumaina cross ama yekani aduga 3 lion head akoin asok hai do paisa da number do sumain to bonga aduga thiet pane ba police ki khwai makok se ado army da na kai kawe do lieutenant general ko general gi hek makha mai mahut se laga thabak to ya ba general di kamain ta we mai cross ama yaw gani ko ji ki lion head to yaw gani do star ama yaw ne adui post am khatani India lai Chief of Army Staff General my rank ta yung cross ne star ne hujiki lion head to yaw Lieutenant General na cross tuga hujiki lion head tuga my hek makha lai Major General lai na cross tuga star ga adui makha ta abduna mo brigadier ai ni star humam ga hujiki lion head tuga adui makha ta abuna mo star ani asok ai do aduna koin hujik SP ga leis sini lai resident adai I see example pizza is icham cham na si gyan ta na da Manipur so se khoi tumen le Lieutenant General ki mana bas insignia ne bas ha pe aduga police chief ki gari thaw bas da Manipur ki DG ki gari di star kya na pathen na re me noi na ha sing yaw je le so ai khang bra isar hum thet puni aduna army da har kan khoi na 3-star general has Lieutenant Generals are called 3-star. No, like ma army ki gari thobu uraba. Star home thela madyo Lieutenant General ni star ani thela na magana Major General ni star am khatang thela magadi brigadier ni. And the brigadier they na koi na 1-star general 2-star sida ju thet pani. Moi color da ju star se. And the general se koi na 4-star general ka. And the police ki koi makok to the 4-star na poi, but 3-star na koi ne. Ai ni si hanjan na jai se kai no na. Law and order senana balaiba police cyber se state ke makha laibani India ki state ke makok ti laigani aduga puna maki India ki makok police lai roiba because law and order is in the state subject high ba makok se union government ha pa ya deba government nana Manipur ki diji ha pe Maharashtra ki diji ha pe na moino order to ko suna ya deba Indian constitution na ya Kana na hap kani state government na hap kada. Ai koi dadi kamai tawi handa ngara kuswa. Delhi na sumai na Manipur ki manu pa ma hape na wawa law bra khabar da swa. Law hidai na koi banda. Adi akhoi na lawjaga da bu do ana lawrei do di ngasai federal structure jo kaira bu natro. Indian constitution na yada ba thaba gi Fong la tawre de law na yana na bana che sign tawro order to kudi kana na to e state government na to e aduna dinga sai gi ifong adum tawra adra do Delhi na hairaga moina lorok decision no koina sidai ta mu sign tawra koina thokpa sabai wane ba 2006 ta na Supreme Court ke judgment am laiye police ki matang Prakash Singh versus Union of India Ada moi kai hai DG khanbagi process mo hai kai no after all police ki mako goi se IPS is the all India service na center sutana from to a and Supreme Court na di hai de bako kai no the IPS sing the all India service ni MPS na koi Manipur saka na paisa bani Manipur police service ai di koi is the MCS ka panga taw nai se IPS adudi mi ga adagi center dagi direct lorak pani na moi no oidoi ni na chip to aduna center su khara yaubam to a na hairak po se adu haira bawbu de India gi law da di law and order se state na pai na Supreme Court na kamai hai adu judgment gi suggestion direction ni matungina ahan bada state ki government duna sarkar duna laingak tuna senior IPS DG oi bada matik chaba moi kangbu magi panel na semgada bani list ama moi state la jai ba IPS senior most DG oi ba ya bo singse adu moina ada tharaga UPSC na pekha lorga IPS lor ba kangbu jai makoi na usiki state na thaga leiba list da gi khwai da gi phai matik chai na khanba ahum ama khador kani sigi ahum je moina state government da pirakani ahum dugi manung da state government na khallaga DG hakada bani na ne ba Supreme Court na 2006 tai haidi center tana rambai wane ba adu bo aham thaga lak list union government na pirak pura central government na pibra pide state government piru ai bani adai moina ngasa ahum khalai do husiki moina thagalai ba list da yaud ba mi pirak pa yagadra yaroi ahum ma pire do khallo hai bani law ne se akoi Manipur da chatna ba man bra bas phong na law thorei ka ba da union government na DG happy na natro ane kya musu khambi usiki BJP se pairing ai da mamangi saka moi horak pa da this is am kiringai ni Armed Forces Special Power एक high level law से state government ना थमसु याय union government thamasu yaeba Nagaland ga Kashmir ga dadi afspa thamjali je kanana thamino da union government thammaneba September 1980 dagi Manipur da afspa thamai isna kanana thamba state ki sarkar na thamjaba koi sarkar na ana state na thamakpala kaino se central government na lokthok ya de afspa je state government na thamadi state government lokthok kadam ne aduga karingumba union government na thamakpo era ba afspa se adu di nang state government na lokthok pa ya de union government na lokthok kadam ne armed forces special power against Manipur se 1980 ki September ki thamai se state government na sum thamak lak pane ba ko haugi ba aduna ni Nagaland ki dadi assembly na resolution lorga union government da koi de ki lokthok pi hai se Kashmir ga moida di kana na thamak puno de union government thamne ba ana Nagaland government na lokthok ngam damina mogi opposition ruling pulap mana raga afspa lokthok pi ona union government de assembly resolution lawe akoi da na isan na thamjar ga assembly de resolution lok jai ngam ni koi kam je matamam da ado handak ti ke dawi BJP na pairak pade di chahi adu koi na afspa thama koi na lokthok ai se yam dar bada koi state government no will khara kai de lokthok ngam noi na adu na bu ai koi gi ong ibobi na pairing da lokthoi ni da na mafam tare tagi lokthoi ningsang ngawi ko ma monoromai matam da union government na lokthok zamana lokthok ngam ne ma lokthor ai ne ba hauji tin laibak thining ai je kaino mayam je kain khang do no khoi sum lai ram ne ba se sigi BJP sarkar se na pairing ai si da ne ba Manipur do je armed forces special power ek thamjal ai se union government na thamgram ne se ai khoi ka khaw ho ram ma ne khangau ram ma ne chahi mari manga se da on gre bo je Hujik tinang Manipur government na koi sarkar pa es lokthok pa ya roi ba union government na ngangna banatana kari gino da afspa se Manipur de impose ho hujik ti Kashmir Nagaland da tawdu mai na union government na tawgre si jo haurak pada kamai haurak union government na Twitter da lauthore police station asuka sukai lautho anina ado khoi Manipur gi sarkar do na namaste ga thagalaga Twitter da thank you for removing blah 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 thagat chari ga adu ko nongala order thokpana Manipur gi cabinet na decision law sara thadu rei decision ade law ni Twitter da thank you hairam ni ko nongala ga cabinet na Manipur government na ngasi gi mafam se ni state sarkar na lokthok pa sara ga order thoi ba adu na haibadi federal politics ki matungina Delhi na hai ga do bunati adu di khoi na lecture ga do pot ne badu di natro adu na Masigi sarkar BJP sin lakpadi federal politics se moigi one nation ting tong sum namjal lakpagi taurakpagi habit se Manipur habit se usitam na pikpani na moina gara taksan na chayum jida mami chaw na tara bane be India gi federal policy ka aduna nei na vo left ngai da Karan Thapar gi interview loram dai da Karan dai na hai bane Federal politics se kai re sai nation media da hanjan adu matung so khoi sida kaya thoina interest dong to chinda de khoi haira Delhi na haira chat lai re na adu sab anable language ne India gi samvidhan gi matung ina ngak lon gi matung ina si gi federal politics se masina loin thugai re chai na Karan Thapar interview ong tare yeng bi bo mam loram dai dai hai bani ngasi Manipur oi be yai when the federal politics why is apik pa Manipur state obi ya du matam mamada di se center na power kale ge state to su loin to rakhin ne India gi constitution da federal structure da kai khini ai chai na hairam mamne ado akhoi da di hujik madu hanjan tawri handa phok tawe akhoi kaya ngangna ge bese Manipur federal structure se kai re adagi mayam haibra article 355 lagu kiya Manipur de chani mam taram ngani he khawru padege Article 355 Manipur the center na thamjale Article 355 is a executive order or na thamba yada bani ai se ai ko ye legal experts sing su kai khang da bai type ne ba Manipur moi ngang ai do aduga RTI tharu badana mu karya ai 355 tham de harak pura mo aduga moi gi minister kai na ha hek irang je tholo pa gi center na 355 thamjala ne 355 thamjala ga internal disturbance, external aggression, or the state ki protection, to gadam ne the mi constitution the yauzari the moral and legal premise for Article 356. I have a president rule thamna ba yana ba justification pi na ba thamba article ne ba 355 do 355 ba itself che nang executive order thoga thamba ya de ba India constitution matungin check khudam moine ijam chamwani 355 ti is kaino karigomba state se internal disturbance na ke external against na tawraga di mabu protect of why base central government gi duty hoigani haibne ba adu supposing am high roba internal disturbance in the constitutional order se fazana function tongam dre adu na khoi 355 chalai re hai yabra ba adu di adu hek hai rub de kaita hai ma hek thangna ba article 356 ne ba constitutional order the salaiba ngam dramina khoi no khut tingjele loksel haiba chamane ba duna migi a constituent assembly the lairiba debate the yang kan it is only a moral and legal premise am piram bai wane ba moini advisory pirak padi hai ba du tawaina suggestion ya du no on the binding oiro and sire marakta ko gi rabisu yauri article 365 aina ngangai se kai no the swai gi leigibe leader kaung na ngangi wane ba justification gi type ta 355 thami ekai thamba yadaba article do thami haijal aini kai no da order pira ngane ba tau ina dai da ke do boi tau do na nang sidi I want to see high su yadana nang na high ga do ngamak ta dg hapanu ne ta law thu ga bra ne kai high ngamak ta g ai ngasai nga hai g do ma hai ge g aduga 365 tana muka ige ngoba center na pirak pa instruction da nang na indraga di constitution gi mawong ina state se chalai ba ngam de na lawni nam su yaw adu su mun na para kai hage lai le ram ge da center gi executive authority gi manung da lai ba hiram da hai ba ne ba center gi executive ki ma gi pai re ba power do adu gi domain na moin advice people da electric ga di nang president rule thamjalak pa ya ado law and order do di nangi executive domain da leiba natabina adu da mana pirak pa advice in the base nangi huji ki 365 to invoke to yaro sigi law mayam se matham thugai re ngasai hai jini police apa se mamang gi do jun gi first week ta pani tang di kaw re tang mari na traga taru oram ngane ha magi nangi rajiv aina ma kan hapchal ai du su adi thamjalai na tro chief secretary su ha magi mamang go aduna somewhere koi constitution je thugai re federal character se thugai re ha manipur sina classic oira bane base aduna khoi na ngasai ji hai sigi ne khudam se constitution ni language anga na india gi constitution je manipur da thugai re ba chana dre ba kana gumune se saure ne indian constitution mai tharo ra nang anti constitution ne na jail da tharum ge haira ken hairo idro aduga bjp sarkar se thugai ne ba du di moi so it is unconstitutional aina constitution mara ngangai sina kari gi no da rahul na ngangak pu da yaw bane ba se that we will defend the Indian constitution we will resist yaw bane yawdra Indian constitution thugai re ba bjp this the way the BJP government is working and destroying the country, and especially the constitution, so we will defend and save Samvidhan bachao, desh bachao hai rahi se. Adu ki constitution thugai bagi one classic example of the way the government blatantly destroy Indian constitution is the manner in which government of India under BJP has destroyed the federal polity in Manipur. I have given you this example, the appointment of police, security forces and so on. Sibusu tasan bio loni lai bano in hang akta ni ene suai youth congress. Ako ki youthful level leader na mana lito ng knowledge is power. Central na security force ita thazal lakpaya deba moi makada command toros tapaya roiba. When they send central security forces like CRPF, army and paramilitary, they are trying to assist the state government, the state police. ये मदद करने आया स्टेट पुलिस को मखोई ना डायरेक्टली लॉ एंड ऑर्डर पाया देव मतीन पांग बलाक बने नंबर 1 लॉ की मतुंगी ना सेकंड सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट ना डायरेक्ट मोगी कमांड मखा द लॉ एंड ऑर्डर से पाई भी याद देव मोगी ट्रुप थाजल लगा हान मधु याबा आर्टिकल में यावरम में बको थ्रू 257A नमले रमेबा हाई बा आर्टिकल दुदुदई का यारम या Central government law and order se moi ki army thazal laga CRP thazal laga direct moi ni handle taunga mame ba law and orders ado Supreme Court challenge tawre unconstitutional oi kai no the law and order is a state subject na Supreme Court accepted and said 257A is unconstitutional because moina haireba Ambedkar gi wahe ma quote toroga law and order is the plenary and sovereign authority of the state kaktat kare baduna handa kai dawe 30,000 40,000 ni nong ni da thajal do me gi tang ahum mari manga da amasu tabi over kangpuk bida bangkar tugai bagda lep kanda DIC gi reng amana DSF kra gainu na agoi noi gi state ki sarkar da ge koi order lok de haibam tahobra video ma chala no chakhi do noi state ki government da gi order karam ba India gi lai pak ta law and order ki ne adi mateng pangna bala iba makoi mapan gi central ki troops sing sina akoi state ki sarkar na haibe iloi koi moi de lok de na phong na ngang na bi adu video recording da adu bu legal oi bra constitutional oi bra ba oi da ba wane ba thugai rei ne ba natro ade amasu ta hobra bus tha ba gi warim tau gi do nga chalaga du da chami ne bi sipai du na chaloi na na me ne ba Manipur gi khwai de gi top political executive pai ba chief minister na haira ga bu mamai le ga han manga mai du kai hai no ba lo chana dai ba ne ba aduna the destruction of constitution in Manipur saina su parliament da ngang gra ba ni se me am tabi obra aina noi si constitution je loin thugai re adu aida mas hairam mani noi na thugai ba na te khoi di si han noi na constitution thugai ba sa 1949 de su tawgram ne nine hairam am and India ki constitution je destroy tawre bo BJP na and Manipur is a classic example how constitution is subverted. Last example of constitutional kamai thugai life and property mioi bagi punsi musung lam thum je state na nga o hai ne ba noi na ngak ta ne hai se ozan hai India ki constitution power ba ko pa ba matam da article 1 da gi na 4 box in a territory defined to when he said am le lam lai bam tok ne na ne aham ba territory gi maram da defined to article 1 to article 4 state am le lam lai gani mathang na kana lai gani mi lai gani aduna next article 5 ta gi 11 box na kai da we citizenship kana non defined to adagi article 12 ta gi hauraga ne ba nang na 32 bo kari chatle fundamental rights lengang na kamai to na mioi bagi life amasung property nga kani hai bagi chapter fundamental rights sa hauri ne ba article 12 tagina mathang ni freedom of right nangi 21 right to life kari kara loi la khadoi lo aduna khoina sid khango da ba para amanu kari no fundamental right how ba article 12 se kari mai haugi yengo ba first article of that fundamental right ki chapter da kari haige da is a definition of state is kari no na kari gi no mana fundamental right ta da when state na horei do haide aikoi gi right to life aikoi gi right to property ni kang de leidiba mayam ai gi punsinga na ba gi freedom nga nam se is an obligation on the state to the man nga na ba gi da makta ne ba state nga to be state to ne ba hana definition pi ba hori do fundamental right ki article 12 na over the state definition haurei jata ina teba hai ba state to na ekoi gi right and property se ngak na bane ba fundamental right mayam do noi na kalai bok thingan ma yani noi na kamai ngak ne na adu gi haurak pani na state to hana define to ba haurei ne ba article 12 Manipur da ngam moi na ngak pa akoi gi life and property se ngak pa ngam bra ba last 2-3 years ta freedom of movement ngami bro chathok chasin right to education kain haija bagi wani prekha tha ba chathok chasin ngami bra ba koi mi hali gadum phone na hali kanam tau ngam di latest one liang mai gi thong lai sini ngasi bau da arrest tau re suspect ama arrest tau re hai bi yaw ra ba when their own government is for openly accusing a armed group under sue kana na accuse away Mangi on deputy CM na tauri na tro hujik so ma'am tabi ra basibo kari no ba khuje lila da na constitution lo kai mlei tabi type ta dum leitro ari kai no suspect the police officer am yaw ro me habra am yaw he do adu kana no maming matha su loin pire do crime thui ba mi hat mi punsi da ngasi ba the accountability ngam le ba so our life and property has not been protected which is what the constitution demands. So federal structure is dukai lawlessness kaire Justice is not done, our freedom is not been protected, our life is not protected. So the question is the Indian constitution in operation in Manipur? Is Manipur a lawful system right now? No. And that's what, when our LOP says, the resistance, and we will resist against this attempt to destroy our constitution, we must realize that there is no clearer example in the last 3 years of the destruction of Constitution of India as it happened in Manipur. I'm repeating it. BJP government a constitution thugaiba matamda, when they are destroying the constitution of the country. Manipur is a classic example of that. The rest of country must know this also. Our life and property, fundamental rights have been destroyed. Lawlessness has been destroyed. Federal structures, all schemes have been destroyed. Blatantly, openly, contemptuously destroyed. Sigi Pibam Sidamana resist is a golden opportunity for us to realize that we must take part in this resistance movement. To save the constitution, and the saving constitution would also mean saving Manipur. So Manipur crisis is not regional crisis, it's a national crisis. If anybody thinks that Manipur is not a national problem, then you must ask question on that. What is your idea of that nation? Constitution to we are an example. Resistance amana constitution to will resist. This is the fourth one. Resistance. So I have said 2 ideas of India, battle of 2 ideologies. Then I said hegemonic homogenizing tendency of BJP versus federal union of states, Rahul Gandhi's argument 4. Fourth time kay use magin hangi resistance. So resistance elements da ay mga higay ko. What is the other element of resistance? What he says is ako'y Manipur hoji ako'y loy namang ready like those. Both naksale man haiba. Ako'y gi thinking mode se change to mathau tai haibani man haidra. We need to change our thinking mode. Our challenge is not to win elections. Our mode should be to resist. See destruction, ma'am. All this destruction that Manipur has experienced, we must resist. That's why I love our LOP's call for resistance. And we must reaffirm that we must resist. Sige thugairiba Manipur machet thugairiba constitution channel halakriba aikoi gi punsi amasung lanthungak pa ngamalka mayam sige mayok ta resist tawdam ne ba. Your election campaign must be guided by this resistance. That party must win because we resist. The party cannot afford to decide winnability on the basis of money and muscle power. Paisa paire hairaga nang na vote ka ke hairaga dia koi resistance ki saru hoigi dong tai biro ne ong tai biro ba. If you are going to vote because somebody is paying you money during election, or a party is going to decide the winnability of a candidate on the basis of how much money he has, rather than whether that person has been part of the resistance movement against this decadence, this assault on Manipur, this assault on constitution. Aina haisi ma'am pau phongnaribra paisa kayam na paiba mina vote kaga dagi hola badatraga paisa piraga kani khalaba ina paisa lahorga vote kani na khala agadi ngasai Manipur da assault tawraga leibudo madu resist tawbagi mahuta ko yauribra badugi kokto aduna neba Rahul ji said it, rightly said it. Our mode, thinking mode should change. So in coming election, what we should do is that Congress must lead this resistance. Resistance against the assault on Manipur, by subverting the Indian constitutional scheme in Manipur, by not protecting the life and property and freedom of the people. We must resist, and Congress should lead that resistance. That's what he was saying. Our mode of thinking should change. Otherwise, if you think only about the money, BJP has all the more money. That's what he was reminding us. LOP na kweda remind kari tawi. EC dagi, intelligence agency dagi, court dagi kari dagi, everything is captured by RSS and BJP. You're not fighting your election in a fair manner. That's given. We should not be blind about this in my eyes. Katuk karan tawdana paisa season adana agency season adana institution mayam se law season arga bhot tawne se. We should not be pretending that we don't know about this. This is the reality. That is what Rahulji was saying. Aduna nimana resistance. That's why our mode of thinking should change. And Manipur na ngasay na classic example of constitution tuwai gi haibani na. I koi gi so resistance movement na mahawam to ever hawam talk to them. Because that is what the legacy of resistance. Madu resist obanga maktaga dine hayen paisagi weraga dine. Vote panayam kaseng BJP na leis biya by sansam level. If you are not committed ideologically and then passionately involved in that resistance, high river resistance the nang saruk yaratra ba mi weraba wakan nam sung thawai hakchang lupatra ba mi duti hayang vote pana karusina karwo tara maringa pisala pada tok thoga tok khipsu ba party dagi yaning bro ma'am aduga nung dagi oina masi resist tawde yade Manipur the moine assault oriba Indian constitution the assault oriba mayam se akoi gi LOP in high sini we must resist this. Haidana hakchang thawa yaurga madugi resistance yawa midna hayeng vote kara dina he will not go on the other side paisa bana pira su taw my motive to kenabina because he is joining political party, he is joining fighting for Manipur, and he is joining the Congress party is not because of personal benefit, because as Rahulji says that we must resist this BJP's attempt to destroy the constitution and this country. Adugi commitment jawa mi duda khoi na emphasis pibam to en khalebai. That's what nasi khoi na Rahulji gi magi birthday amusung magi speech on resistance and ningzang agadi madu yaw dagadi I'm telling you you will not be part of election should not be the agenda. My Hydra is there. We are already winning. Do you think that BJP will win in this? They will not. Ako na resist ako di mo na kangina ba? Mo ka compete or nang na paisagi hinsap ta nang na BJP ka compete or ba? That is what Rahulji is reminding us. All the institutions are in their hands. Paisa mo na pai pe heli, loin pai ram ni na. Ako ki thinking se han na gi phimam da le ra di yar roi. Ako se resistant mo to hong da bani hujik ki hai bane ba man na han gi speech to. Listen to it carefully again. All of you are congressmen and women here, Congress worker, listen to our leader's statement. All the institutions is in the BJP's hand. They have media, social media, election commission, court, police, intelligence agencies. Everything is captured. So what do we do? Money they have. Do you think that you will compete by having more money? Do you think you can fight BJP with more money? That's what Rahulji was reminding us. We need to change our thinking mode. Hydro. We should be in the resistance mode. Struggle the freedom struggle, the political party or the Congress said, but Gandhiji lakpagi nang freedom struggle ki mobilization of 2019-27 the Congress is no longer a political party. We were a resistance movement. The second time we are facing this. The country needs resistance. That's what LOP was trying to convince us. It's a one-of-a-kind statement. I call you in the hand relevant way. ngasi imalai pak Manipur chahi lising ani hum leire hairiba posida thugai reiba aduga India ge saruk oina leiba constitution scheme da su thawoi usitabo ge moina haire ge abspa zu moina han lauthokpa aduga khoina rubber stamp ge tapta sign toba dg zu moina happa sipai ju ni ge new thazal lakta ba sipai na zu ge cm ge mawa loroi haigal lakpa sigi complete minai nei thangi type ta constitution thugai raga Manipur gi praja ju kangkhong chaheli ba se masi fight toge haita ga we need resistance. Resistance movement nama changne haibani madugi resistance movement do Congress mangjin thagadabneba. That is what he says to other parties. TMC karikrata, I am not your enemy, you are my allies. No the gyan tadava confusion nam lady haibani speech de yengo. You think that you lost your election. Marakta nang hai mamta na 90% di hai amanda 40% hai sum hai bin hai di vote hurang re ma hai na no, the percentage the election has been stolen from you. 100%. You're going to fight the next election. How to win the next election. That's what he said in that speech. How to win our election next. And that's we will not be able to defeat BJP. That's what Rahulji was saying. We should change our thinking mode to resistance mode. Imalai Park Manipur bu thugai ge na tawreiba mode India ki constitution ki scheme da su thoi sitana tawreiba mode puna maksa Congress party should lead in resisting that haibani Congress ki. That's what Rahulji's message was. You go back and listen to that again. Amukhan na tao. Then you will understand Nungi Wahanto Kainukanga is one of the most powerful statements that I have ever heard from a leader in this country. Because it's a subtle change. How to, you think that man you think the question is how to win the next election, Hybra. But I think you are asking the wrong questions. That's there, we are winning. The only thing is that fair the fight of those thinking process. You can't compete like this. You are assuming that the state protections institutions are going to be there. Money is on your side. We need to resist. Manipur gi Toreba Poch the Handaki live elections resistance ki mode. If the Congress is going to work with this style of as Rahulji was asking us to do, if we are not ready to resist, mark my word, we will have a tough time. Paisana leiba yaba se kayana kanana torokani duyengo adubu aikoina resistance motal heuraba as Rahulji was saying, then kaidoni khangbadana we will win aduga aikoida district of sungamoeba. And then we truly represent the people's interest of this Manipur ki interest miyam gi khola oibangamba aduma party mo kaneba khoina. We will become that, a true representative of the people of Manipur. The MPCC Manipur Congress will become that party only if we take the resistance mode. We change our thinking from winning election to resistant mode. That's what Rahulji's message was. So when we celebrate his birthday, how many of us are going to be convinced about this? I am convinced. Until unless we become a part of that resistance movement, not only become part of it, we must lead that resistance. Manipur Congress then we will win. Nobody can defeat us. Sini. Magin hangi message. Go back and listen to it. I couldn't use it. So whether our party is going to follow his advice, his suggestions, or we're going to be trapped. That's the challenge we have now. Last fifth part, Rahulji and love. Because I teach a paper. Politics as vocation in a lecture. I should Rajniti Max Weber essay. Ma high school IIT Kerala institute amagi satra mayam ge interact tawbani video lebani magi the Instagram just to tholakani mang ka heda politics se principle yauraga aigi ideology da lupcharaga aigi principle da tawraga tawge deba is a struggle. It's not easy. It's a tough job. Aduga paisa paige nungaige chage thake na changakpa politics is very comfortable, it's very easy. Oidaba padaba furan chinthi tawraga chathoke khoptoke na changakpa adumba politics oraga de yam laibani politics hai. But if you have chosen politics because you have certain principles, certain purpose and ideology leraga karigoma esip tawgen fight tawraga de it will not be easy ma hai. Esu lairo yang wabani, it's a tough job hai. Rajni dog jeto masing asai Max Weber ki essay da yaw baina satra de am tak pot ne bas. Mana Max Weber pande mon the question hang da ma hai bane politics se makhalani thong ne yeng bayai. Isagi oisa oi thak kai chana naba oinar ba kana naba sen thum tan ge power pa ha na tan bo rega de adugi politics rajniti tu am laibani aduga kariguma thaba ma pangthok ke na principle ground da value base aurakan da ideology sengaga purpose sengaga changa ke haira agadi yam thina wabani. It's not an easy, it's not everybody's game hai mana mipung thing mataloi ngamoy adu Max Weber na there are two kinds of politicians man hairam. The one who live for politics, LIVEFOR, live for politics. Aduga politician ani makhalani amusule amusu mana aduna kai weda politician who live off politics, LIVA live off OFF politics. Kai hai no mana live for politics aiba politician sai Rahul na sai ke koi gi LOP na hai riba tough oiba politics to them. Principle ground, ideology, purpose sab tawgai lepa kisi tawgen changakpa politics na madugi khulai oina madugi na kanwana sinna ga changakpa kangbu do aduni ngasai Max Weber na there are politicians who live for politics and there are a group of politicians who are called live off politics. Vote card dia so sang already paisa chabam le rakani thingmong le kani power benefit material benefit am thole idana power pai bagi madugi phangna bagi da makta politics over politician ju yawgani amana lepa ki kari umma tauge ai principle am ground am jor ka sangpa politicians along ne Weber na di mado live for politics ai amaduna live off politics ai ma ga for we say ni politics is vocation larik oirambra oiramde karige. That's why I love Rahul ji. He said while interacting with us youth students that there are two kinds of politics. Aina yawning eba policy na principle ground adu tawragadi yam wabani adudi not everybody can do it yam tough oiba job ni aduga nungai thoke acha thak loge na changu policy am live ni aduna nang na politics no ang haduna hang ko ni politics yaw da yaw idana yaw sini yaw rakanda karam makhani politics no nang yaw do da han khalo yauri basa nangi ngasai gi principle ground da thaba ma tauge purpose yauge na dumai changak pa politician oiraga de yamna tough oivni yamna wavani nasagi achet pa wakhalon yau da yaroi madu hai ba Rahul do that Rahul ji who said this is the same guy who gave us this message of resistance. Let's change our mode of thinking to resistance ngasai gi principle purpose da ngasai na losalak da ga do se as a tribute to his birthday. Is a bird natro pokpa anoba wakhalon ma pokpa anoba Manipur anoba makhangi rajniti mangase NSY gumana ko youth congress na ngasigi natagasu Manipur da leiba naha singsina anoba makeup topuda anoba makhangi politics oigedi nahan Rahul ji na pireb do including those youth in this state aigi appeal de irrespective of your political affiliation all the youth in Manipur listen to Rahul ji's speech on resistance and you will realize how much we need that in Manipur. Anywhere, more than any other place, Rahul ji's advice needs to be heeded here in Manipur. I koi na mathau ta se magi mana pire advice magi idea se Manipur masana ngasi le ba koi freedom sida mathau ta ba na India gi mafam am ta mathau ta di ba koi na ne ta e bo aduna listen to what Rahul ji's 9 aduna NSY di hai neba spread that lecture explain these things I ngasi hai reis neba until unless we change our mode of thinking akoi khaliba miyeng yengiba miyeng wakhalon che hongdok trigai di akoi na BJP fight to wanga moy aduna mathang election kamai thongni na ma so haidana how to win next election is the biggest challenge though. No, you are wrong, I the man, because your thinking need to change. Election is not going to be fought on a fair plane. Aduna Manipur the thing say example how we have been subverted. Akoi kamai na kangkhong chai la aduna noi na se Rahul ji gi birthday ningseng ma matam da man noi na pick up tawrei ba sigi legacy se translate tawge din spread that message irrespective of the party. Within the party, discuss it as this election is coming up. I'm repeating again, we need this advice of our LOP. We need to turn our thinking process into resistance. In that fight, we need NSY and Youth Congress in the forefront along with our Mahila Congress and Savadal. We must work and spread it out. Imalipa kan ge hai taragadi masimatau tae ba koi da ko aduna loisalak pada in haisini. I've said this in Ahmedabad also because Kharge ji na ne yam nuksiba ina da ngang le wa ma aina din hangai phong na ko taw da ba ai gi election campaign de season rakpa miyam na number 1 ai gi party na ni suba ai isa gi ni kon ba hai ba se Ambedkar na hairam me ba. Our President Kharge ji said the same thing in Ahmedabad. You must keep the people and the nation in front. Then second, you think about your party. Third, you think about yourself. Aduna ngasi Manipur imagi leiba fibam se masibu kauthoga akoi gi Rahul ji na haire ba ma gi thinking process is the chatragadi akoi gi Congress se Manipur maru ina akoi da hena china sokningai gi chance re yebe se akoi kaupade aduna nakoi ngasi sumna gi ritual gi type to simply celebrating birthday will not work. If you really wanted to wish your leader Rahul ji, then you convert it into your heart and mind. Start thinking about this resistance. What does he mean by let's change our thinking mode into resistance mode? Manipur needs this more than anybody else in today's India. Don't forget that. Aduna akoi no zik tawgado se real tribute to him will come from understanding what he was saying in that speech and translating it in our hearts and mind and on the ground. And for that, NSY and Youth Congress, you expand and why the ABVP person can walk like this. They have done so many mistakes, their party. Your party hasn't done any mistake in that sense. Why you are so small? Why you are so down in your energies? Si khangogadabani aduna ne akoi na thabak tawina bada no organization the su faction ga live say it's part of politics, but learn responsibility lo batamu. When you're holding a post, whether you're general secretary something, immaturity no inahan na du yaw bayadi. You're holding a post, even if you are NSY secretary, you're holding an office which means a lot for the party. Adugi responsibility lo bang ngadabani. Immaturity oibagi pibam na nang na pai live office to tawbang amdab du no oiroi. Nga ki ko life I have seen a lot of people in my life. Yanda bra. Nangi fully I na trust aruba mini khangde amani khangde ko. But those events will not disturb you. Learn to ngasai moina love ka mahigeda. You should also learn to love and forget and forgive. Ay ngasai spring anga midune leangwi chatpada. We must maintain our humanity, but at the same time learn to take responsibility. Sumnagi party ni office ni na yauraga leibudu yaru aduna ne noi na lakpada aduna ne na noi gi saba thakpa gi doi na hangamido. That is why I said, let's do it, let's get it up, let's resist. Imalipak Manipur country, kan badang asaige koi Rahul ji na hai resistance motu da changaga strengthen tawraga na. We will be the flag bearer of that resistance, and then we will be able to save Mother Manipur. Aduna tagadi upai lete. Ya ko. Aduna, as I wish my best wishes to our LOP, I'm also wishing all the best for whatever you do, but be genuine. Learn. Sumnagi ritual, and simply because this is his birthday, you are doing a simple ritual will not work. It must be translated in your heart and mind, in your action. Sinoi gyan targa chappa khungsanga plan ma chokau tau Jones smaller group ta block level da chatlu. Ko your job is not to think about next election. Your job is to organize resistance against the assault on Manipur by destroying Indian constitutions, That resistance, NSY Youth Congress must begin. Organize yourself. Nang Ambedkar so educate, organize, and agitate. That's what we need to do it. You are part of a big party. Expand your base. Actively work it, plan it out. Learn yourself. You are in your 20s and 30s. Manipur when the Era board and others were changing Manipur, they were all in their 20s. When Pabung Pahari, Hoi Moi Namu Anova Manipur, same in the 60s, they were also all in their 20s. Learn to take responsibility. Don't act like an immature person. Take responsibility. Plan it out. I am here for your support. Any scheme that you do, I am saying it now, go beyond your Congress Bhavan. Move out to the villages and towns and schools and others. Engage every day. 10 minutes or so, half an hour in a group colleges, school, the Sigi resistance videos, we need to resist. Tell them that we are NSY, we are not party ki we are resisting against Manipur in the higher activities expand the Wamchangi. So I think Rahul Ji has given us a guidance. It's the right time for us, learn this and implement it on the ground. Then I can assure you that I will be here for you, I will be on your side. We will resist and we will change Manipur, we will save our Manipur. Yarko, already was selected long a plug logs, yeah, bro. A good party song logging a city, yeah, not so. Yarko, no, no, me a whole lot. Congress Party na Imali Park na Manipur Imana Imali Park na. Life a minute to say.